and welcome to this week's Travel Talk show. We're very happy to have you take some time out of your afternoon and attend our Travel Talk. And today we're going to talk about Japan, and specifically Japan during the Cherry Blossom Festival, because we have a great tour going there next year. So it's at the end of March, beginning of April, trying to hit that great cherry blossom time. And I am here with Brianne, who is from All Japan Tours, and they are our partner for this tour. We've used them for this tour before. It's an excellent tour. I think it really shows the best of Japan. So hi, Brianne, and thank you so much for joining us to talk about this great tour and a little bit about Japan in general.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So I work with All Japan Tours, like Ms. Southwell mentioned. We've been in business since 2001, and we kind of our main focus has always been on Japan. And I know a lot of people like to go during the cherry blossom season. So in Tokyo, that main time to go is the end of March to about April 7th is usually when it's in full bloom.
But it travels around, so cherry blossom in Tokyo would be different than maybe as we go down south. They might have already had their cherry blossom.
Right, yeah. It
Moves up.
usually starts around maybe March 20th in the south, and then in the northern area, they kind of get it in May, so it's a lot later.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a very weather dependent, which I
Mhm.
guess would be obvious for cherries and
Mhm.
cherry blossoms, but it is definitely beautiful when you actually hit that time.
Mhm.
So we're just going to go through. I've made some slides here that I hope everybody can see my screen and see the slides, just to kind of show off some of the highlights of this tour and Japan in general. So sorry, it's a little bit, I had a smaller picture that I made bigger, and that always makes it a little bit fuzzy, but this is, as everybody can probably tell, a map of Japan, and the red line's going to just kind of highlight where the tour takes us. So Brianne can maybe just talk about kind of the route of the tour and where we go here.
Right. So this tour does start in Tokyo, where somebody will meet you at the airport, and you just take a shuttle bus to the hotel. Very simple transfer. And then you kind of go a little south, you hit Mount Fuji, and then you'll go down to Atami, which is a kind of a hot spring place. I know a lot of people want to try the onsen, which is the hot spring. And then you'll go down to Kyoto, which is a big, the ancient capital of Japan. Lots of temples and shrines there. And then down to Osaka is another kind of major city, similar to Tokyo, a little bit bigger on the food culture there. And then you'll go down to Hiroshima, which I'm sure everybody knows what Hiroshima is. Uh, and then you go to Takamatsu, which is kind of more nature to see a Bookie Gorge. And then back to Osaka, where you'll go to the Kansai airport.
Excellent. And I have to say, I did this tour. I was a tour host on this tour a couple of years ago. So I'm a little bit familiar with all of the sites that we see. And it was really a great look at Japan, just in general, the culture. I felt after the tour, I had such a good overall kind of experience and knowledge of what Japan's about, what the people, the culture. So it really took a little bit of everything in there, and it was kind of, as you went, you grew and you learned more and more, and it all added together to just become just a really, really good experience in the end.
Right, yeah, this is one of the most popular routes for people to take, so
And I
it
was
does hit.
glad that we went to Hiroshima, because I know a lot of tourists don't bother going that far down.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's important, and it's important to learn about that and what happened and be aware.
Right, yeah, the big memorial park they have is
Yeah.
beautiful now. Okay. Okay, so this tour does start in Tokyo, as we mentioned. So the pictures you see on the left in the middle is Asakusa Sensoji Temple, and it is the oldest temple in Tokyo. It's established in 645, I believe. So they also have the largest paper lantern. It's a Buddhist temple. So that's one of the big highlights in Tokyo. And then there's also a long shopping street called Nakamise Street. It's been around almost as long as the temple. So they have tons of stalls there. You can shop for souvenirs, snacks, pretty
Yeah, I
much any.
remember a lot of food. There's a lot of
Yeah,
like
they do
little
have
like
a.
donuts and all different kinds of food there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
I also there was we learned the difference between a shrine and a temple because as you go around Japan, you're going to see many temples and many shrines, and there's a big difference, and you'll be able to recognize easily once you kind of know the difference between a shrine and a temple. But this is definitely a Buddhist temple,
Right.
and we'll see some pictures of more shrines like the golden what's it called, the golden shrine. Am I making this up?
I know there's the Golden Pavilion in
Yeah,
Kyoto. That one's
okay, that's not
yeah.
a shrine. Okay,
That's one's a temple, I believe. Yeah.
it's also a temple.
Yeah, but
Obviously I was not a very good student on the differences between shrines and temples.
oh. Yeah, no, there's also tons of shrines. We'll touch on that a little later too, seeing some of them. But another big highlight you'll see is the cherry blossoms in Japan. You'll be going to Ueno Park, which has over a
Oh
thousand
yeah.
cherry trees as well. So people set up their mats on the floor. They just sit there all day and eat, drink, and look at the cherry blossoms.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Hmm.
Just, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then the Imperial Palace you'll also visit in Tokyo, which is where the current imperial family does reside. You can't go into the main grounds because they only open it twice a year, which is on New Year's, the day after New Year's Day, and the emperor's birthday. But the outer grounds are beautiful. It's surrounded by a moat. There's a huge park.
Yeah, it
So
was
that's a lot
very
of fun.
pretty.
Yeah, it's
Great
fun to see.
photo opportunity too.
Definitely. Um, there we go, the
Oh,
sushi
and
making
this
class.
was so much fun. There's a few things in this tour that were just so much fun, and we had such a good time doing. And one was definitely the sushi making.
Mhm.
It's like it takes a while for the whole thing. You learn from the chefs how to do it, and then you attempt to do it yourself, and then you have to eat what you made. So, but
Yeah.
it was a really fun kind of thing to experience.
I got to go last October, and we also did the sushi making on one of my tours. But they also have vegetarian options because I'm not a
Yeah.
seafood eater. So they're big on pickled vegetables in Japan. So that's what we used.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge seafood eater either. And if you love seafood, then Japan's the place for you
Mhm.
because it's all about the seafood. But even if you're not a huge seafood lover, there's options, and they're very good about kind of working around that and giving you options.
Right, yeah. Yeah, even if you want cooked fish, they usually can fry it up or boil it for you. So they're really accommodating.
Okay.
Okay, and then after Tokyo, we moved down to Mount Fuji, which is a huge mountain in Japan, the tallest mountain in Japan. This tour does go to the fifth station of Mount Fuji, which is as far as cars or buses can go. And they have some souvenir shops you can look at, take a lot of pictures. It's beautiful. And then to the right, the upper right, you'll see the Hakone Ropeway, which also offers views of Mount Fuji. It's this ropeway that'll take you up to Owokudani, which is kind of a hot spring place. So that's really fun to see. It's fun to experience the ropeway.
It was very, the views are outstanding, and it is actually, they told us, hard to get a picture of Mount Fuji because the cloud cover can be a problem. but these pictures are what we took. So we actually got a little bit of a view. The clouds broke for us, and we got a fairly good view. It's not scary because you're enclosed and it's quite comfortable going up. So I'm not a huge fan of heights, and it wasn't scary at all. So it was really really good view. But it is cold.
Hmm.
You're up fairly high, and it was cold. So we did have all our coats on, and you can see.
Hmm. Yeah, you got some beautiful pictures too. When we went, I know we had it was clear for about 10 minutes, and then right after the clouds rolled in, so we got lucky seeing
Yeah.
Mount Fuji. All right, and then this is Hikone Castle. Let me see. This one I didn't get to visit on my tour, so it is one of the 12 original castles of Japan, which means it was never destroyed by war or fire or anything. It's
And you
also,
can
yeah.
go right up into this one. So
Hmm.
you get to walk around. It was like stepping back in time because the grounds are huge. It's not just this one building. It's just kind of sprawling and keeps getting higher and higher. And it was neat to walk around it and
Hmm. Yeah,
feel
you
like
can
you're
see the
stepping
inside.
back in time.
Hmm. Yeah, and then this is one of 5 castles that are also a national treasure, so it's very important to Japan. But yeah, it's fun to see the inside, how they kind of ruled and everything. And then this is Miho Museum, which is in Koka. It's one of the most popular museums in Japan. It was created by a famous architect, I.M. Pei, and he named it after, what was her name? Koyama Mihoko, which was the richest woman in Japan, or one of the richest women, I'm sorry. And yeah, it's kind of ancient civilizations. You can see everything on exhibit. And when you're walking up to the museum, the pathway's lined with cherry blossom trees. So that's really nice to see in late March, early April. So
Yeah,
did
the
you get?
architecture is just amazing. On
Hmm.
like almost the outside is so beautiful, and
Right.
which is such a part of Japanese culture. I found everything aesthetically, the care and detail into
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah, and then another thing is they like to kind of build with their surroundings. So it really highlights kind of the hills in the background, the trees. I got to go during autumn season, so everything was orange, yellow. It was beautiful.
So this was a garden that we went to go visit, and
Hmm.
again, it just shows the different kind of style, not styles, they're all similar styles, but the different gardens that they had. So the sand garden, and then a lot of times using water in the gardens. So very beautiful.
Hmm.
Japanese gardens are known worldwide, and it was
Right.
really nice to see them actually in Japan.
Yeah, they have the rock gardens. They have a landscape garden that kind of has like a miniature Mount Fuji replica. So you can see those all around Japan. They're really big on gardening.
Oh, and this was my favorite part of the tour.
Yep, this is in Kyoto, which is the ancient capital, a huge city with temples, shrines. You'll be able to dress up like a geisha. So they do your makeup, they do your hair for you, they'll dress you up in the kimono, and you get to walk around a bit with that on, take pictures. So it's a really good experience from what I've heard, and
Yeah, it was
yeah.
definitely a highlight.
Mhm.
They dress you from, completely. There's like undergarments under the um the kimono that you see. So it's like layer upon layer. They dress you in, they do the hair, they do the makeup, you have shoes, everything, and then they take you out in the streets and walk you around, and they're taking pictures, and other people are taking pictures of you. And
Mhm.
it was like a true highlight of the tour.
Yeah, a lot of people love that. especially being able to dress up like that. You don't get to do that every day.
Well, you can see the shoes that we wore. That took a little bit of practice to walk around in, but everybody did okay.
Good, no broken ankles.
No broken ankles. And you did get to choose your kimono, so you kind of chose the kimono, and then they chose all the accessories that would match with it for you, and then got you dressed in it. So it was really, and the photos, we had tons of photos. They do individual photos, photos with your friends or like traveling companions, and then also the group photos. And
Right.
they did those in studio and out on the street. So it was a great souvenir to be able to bring home too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, geisha are very hard to see in Japan, even in Kyoto. But you can sometimes see them go into their next appointments. They just kind of perform for people. They play instruments. But a lot of people want to try and see them. So I think when they see tourists come and dress up, they get excited too.
I know, we would with our guide, we'd see a geisha and we'd be like, "Oh, it's a geisha, geisha!" And they're like, "No, no, they're just dressed up."
Yeah.
I kept thinking to
Yeah.
myself, like,
Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference.
no, no, it's just tourists.
So this on the left is a Fushimi Inari shrine. So this one is a shrine and it's famous for its thousands of torii gates. One of the most popular shrines dedicated to the god Inari. Uh, there you can see little fox statues around, which were considered his messengers. So it's fun to kind of walk through the pathway, go through there, and see what you can find out.
And they start close like this, and then in this pathway goes up kind of into a hill, small mountain. And as it goes up, the torii gates get a little farther apart all the time. So there's 1,000 there, but it's like quite a good long walk if you want to do the whole walk to the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a longer walk. And then let's see, on the right-hand side on the top, you'll see sake barrels. So on this tour, you also go to a sake museum, which is a big highlight for a lot of people. You get to try sake. They give you a little taste sampler. And yeah, those barrels are used to carry sake in. And then on the bottom right, you see Todaiji Temple, which is in Nara. And it's one of the main point of Nara. And it's also connected to the Nara Deer Park, which is fun for people.
Yeah.
They sell these crackers that you can feed to the deer. They're wild deer, but they'll let you pet them.
Yeah.
Some even bow to you if you bow to them first.
Yeah, the deer are very friendly, very tame,
Hmm.
and we'd like their crackers, please.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you gotta feed them quick too, or else you'll have a big mob around you of deer. And then this one is Himeji Castle, which is it's also called White Heron for because of its elegant appearance and white exterior. And it's also another of the original castles, the 12 originals. So it was never destroyed. The main keep is still intact. They just restore it every so often, and in the picture too, you can see the cherry blossoms. So this is a big cherry blossom spot for people
Just
too.
beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's stunning in person.
And it's over 400 years old too,
Hmm.
so it's well preserved.
Oh, yes. All right, and then we get down to Hiroshima, which on the left you'll kind of see the memorial, and and on the right you can see the A-bomb dome, which was a building that was left standing after the explosion went off. So this is a kind of grim reminder on what happened, and they have a museum you can go to as well, and they just kind of show what the war was like, and kind of a reminder on what they don't want in the future.
Yeah.
But it is good to see how everything was kind of rebuilt and restored into this huge park. So a lot of people do like seeing that. And it's a
It
very
was
popular center.
very moving though to see like the ground zero where the bomb actually hit and they kept it. And you can just picture exactly what happened. That
Mm-hmm.
1 minute was a building, next minute it wasn't.
Right, yeah. And then from Hiroshima, you do go to Miyajima Island. You'll have to take a ferry there, and one of the highlights is the floating torii gate. So when a high tide comes up, it looks like this torii gate is kind of floating on the water, and then when it is low tide, you can actually go out and walk to it. So a lot of people do like sing this. They take pictures if it's high tide, or you can walk up to it. I know it was being restored last year, so it should be open by March for next year. And then you go down to Bookie Gorge. So it's just this natural scenery on Yoshino River, and you do take a boat ride on this tour. So you get to go by see all these trees. There's a little waterfall. So this one's fun
Lots of
too.
flags hanging above the gorge, which is
Yes. Hmm.
okay. And that is pretty much the highlight. There's some other
Hmm.
highlights in the tour that we didn't actually touch on. We do a Japanese tea ceremony.
Hmm.
We have Kobe beef, Wagyu
Hmm.
beef
Yeah, the
dinner.
Kobe Wagyu beef.
A few
Uh,
other things.
yeah, I know there's an okonomiyaki class where you get to make
Yes.
that. So that's a specialty in Osaka and Hiroshima. It's kind of this pancake thing with flour and cabbage. You get to choose a protein to put in it, and they kind of mix everything together like a pancake.
And then you cook it like right on
Hmm.
kind of a grill right in front of you as you're sitting there.
Right, yeah. So they're pretty tasty. And then what else? On this tour, you also ride a bullet train, so that's a big highlight for people. You'll go from I believe it's Atami to Nagoya, which is about an hour and a half on the bullet train. And it's really high speed, but you don't really feel the movement or anything.
No, yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's very smooth.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to see if there are any questions. If anyone has. Okay. If you have a question, you can just raise your hand, and I can open up your microphone so that you can actually talk. I have to keep scrolling up and down though. Yeah. Okay. Well, it doesn't look like anybody has any questions, so we'll probably just leave it there. It'll be a little shorter travel talk this week. I just want to thank Brianne for coming on and showing us a bit about Japan and about this tour. If anybody does have any questions and wants to, what happened here? And wants to message us or give us a call, certainly do that. And we will be more than happy to give you some more information about this tour or just about Japan in general. Thanks so much. Thank you, Brianne.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everybody that came and attended, and have a great day. And we will see you for our next travel talk next week. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.